And we are back for another episode of Zaddy Ball. We brought Steph on and was like, "Yo, this is our first time we ever had a guest. But you want to come on? You want to come on again? You want to join us again? Like, let's talk some 49ers football, baby. That's what I'm all about." I see JC in the comments, like always. My man's out here, supporting love all the time. And when you say drip loading, I know you talking about Steph. Because it ain't me. I know Jay definitely got that drip, but Steph, hands down, queen of the drip. She all about it. Like, oh my God, she got every pair of shoes you need. What's going on, Steph? Sorry to hype you up.
Hey, I appreciate that. Today, I'm just wearing a thrifted shirt. I don't know if I'm dripping that hard today, but appreciate that, JC, as always. And of course, you guys for having me on, and taking me under your wing on this Zaddy Ball journey. We might have to change the name though, because I don't know,
I think Zaddy is a term that is across
term.
genders, and it's more about the swagger. And I think you exemplify that, so it worked. That's why we said, hey, let's just make this a weekly thing between us three.
Yep.
All right. Yep.
Absolutely, Jay. How you doing? How's the move? Because from what I understand, you moved into a new place. You got a new corner now. You had a corner at the last place, but now you got a new corner in the house. How's that going?
It's good, actually. I have this Dr. Evil chair. It doesn't spin, but look at how far back, and it's just like perfect. Like I can like stroke a cat here and like take over the world type shit. It's a work in progress. Obviously, anybody who's ever moved understands how hard this is. Haven't been able to stream, getting back to it now. So that's why last week Andrew and I were back. Now we're doing this. So we're getting back into the swing of things. Things are happening, but that move, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy in any way about moving. Moving is terrible. It's the worst thing ever. But today is really cool too, Leo, because we had a little bit of an announcement too before we get into everything as well. If you guys didn't know, Javi, the legend, is going to be stepping back from the Oh Hey There podcast on Niners Nation, and I'll be stepping in, and it'll be Leo and I going forward. So yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to join Leo and all those guys over at Niners Nation and everything as well too, man. That is something that is a big honor for me. Akash, KP, Levin, Rob, Michelle, everybody that's over there doing their thing, man. I'm just honored to join them.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out Javi as well. It's he knew it was going to be a task hopping on with me, because we literally have to schedule it every single Monday. Like we just had, what was it, Memorial Day just recently passed, and he's a veteran himself, and he's like, "Yo, we recording?" I'm like, "Unfortunately, yeah, like we're recording." So Javi's doing like 12, 14 hours, a day, and we get on, we record. Sometimes it's past midnight. So that's kind of he's got big things going on, and that's kind of the reason why. And it's just like, okay, Javi was like, "Yo, I don't know if I could continue with my current workflow, but I am recommending Jay." I'm like, "All right, yeah, like bet, done. Like we don't even need to discuss it." I think we got a new Spicy Squad member in here as well.
New Spicy Squad member, let's go.
So what we're gonna get into today is basically season preview, but based off a subject line. So the topics was going to be choose your 49er for the most underrated, best player, key new addition, could surprise, takes a leap, and prove it year. I see. Before we get into that, we have a donation here from Chris Royale. Let me go ahead and post it here on the screen.
Shout out to Chris.
He's taking the season preview into the standing section of it. He said, end of the season prediction, 49ers 11-6, Rams 10-7, Cardinals 7-10, Seahawks 6-11. Thoughts? I think the winner of that division probably loses less than 6 games is my initial thought. Probably the winner of the division, I'm going to say, maybe a little petty, but I'm going to price this right you and say 12-5 would probably be the lowest, or I guess the most losses is going to be 5 for that division winner, because I think it's going to be so tight to where that looks closer to the NFC East than it does for the NFC West.
Steph?
I mean, I definitely think it looks grim for the Seahawks. I think 6-11 is, probably about where I would put them. The Cardinals 7-10. I don't know if I agree with that one. I mean, they're definitely going to struggle. As we know, Cliff Kingsbury always struggles at some point in the season, but 7-10, I don't see that for them. I think they'll be able to, come away with a couple more than that. Rams, man, I think 10-7 is too low for the Rams. I mean, they're just coming off a Super Bowl season, and I think Stafford is just going to continue to click with his guys, and I think they'll have a way better season than 10-7. I hate season predictions, by the way, so that's why I'm not giving what I think they're gonna win, but I'll just tell you, Niners 11-6. I think that's about where I would put them for a optimistic prediction. On my channel, I gave an optimistic prediction, and I also gave a not so optimistic one. But 11-6, I think, is right about where I could see them going. They have a solid team around them.
Yeah, I think the floor right now would be 10-7 for this 49ers team, especially when you think about the defense and how little sometimes that they ask of the quarterback. And if Trey Lance can give that small bump, I think 12-5 is the ceiling. So let's go optimistic. Let's have some fun today. 12-5 for the 49ers, 11-6 for the Rams. The Cardinals fall off, and the Cardinals' biggest competition isn't anybody in the NFC West. It's going to be November, December, and January football, which has been beating Cliff Kingsbury's ass for years, no matter where he coaches. So that's the part where 7-10, okay, I could see them at 8-9, 9-8, there. And I think 6-11 is too high for the Seahawks. I don't see where they get these 6 wins from, especially when you think about the division that they're going to be competing against, the AFC West, which is stacked. One of those teams is not going to make the playoffs, and that's going to be a very good team. So 6-11 feels a little bit too gracious for the Seahawks, and that's just me throwing out a little spicy talk to the Seahawks, because I am of the proponent of kicking a man while they're down, and that's what I'm doing with the Seahawks right now.
Yeah, it's look at the roster difference between those two teams, Cardinals and Seahawks, and I don't think they're necessarily one game apart, considering how big of a leap the quarterback position is for the Cardinals compared to the Seahawks. When it comes to the first place, I just hope it's the 49ers because of obvious biased reasons. But shout out JC once again. I already shouted him out earlier. We're streaming this on 3 channels. And JC said, yo, I'm jumping between all 3 channels. Let's hit those like buttons on all 3 channels.
Let's
so
go.
if you're on Jay's, in the what would it be, subject or whatever,
The
you have
description.
my channel. Yeah,
Description.
there we go. You guys are better than I am. Have my channel link. So after the show, make sure you go to my channel. After the show, make sure you go to Steph's channel. She's in the description there. Vice versa with my channel in the description. Jay's channel links in there. Steph's channel's in there. Same thing with Steph. But let's get into it. Who wants to go first? We got most underrated player on the 49ers. I'm going to start off with Jay, actually. So the most underrated player on the 49ers going into the 2020 season. Or, damn, I'm 2 years behind, 2022 season.
So this is somebody who took a big jump in everybody's eyes and started to become somebody that everybody pointed to and said, man, this guy's a baller. But I still feel he's underrated. That's Azeez Al-Shaair. I just want to run through some stats for him this year. 102 tackles, 58 solo, 44 assists, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, 5 pass defenses, and 1 interception. The biggest game that showed me that Azeez Al-Shaair is turning into him or moving into that him territory was the Seattle game where he actually had the green dot, meaning he's the play caller. He's the guy who played for Fred Warner. I want to run down these stats against Seattle. 11 solo tackles, 4 assisted, 15 combined tackles, 1 QB hit, a tackle for loss, and a forced fumble, which was at the goal line, and it actually set up the 49ers to have that one last gasp, which we all know how it ended at the end, chance to tie the game or win the game. But that would have been his Dre Greenlaw moment. So for the first time a guy is wearing a green dot, he goes into the most, I guess, the house of horrors that it comes to with the 49ers, and he answered the bell. He also got better as the year went on in coverage, which is something people were very much worried about. Azeez Al-Shaair, after he got the injury, kind of tapered off a little bit, tried his damnedest to play. But if he's healthy going into the next year, it's hard for you to find a 3 better linebacker group than this 49ers team.
I'm going to go with Emmanuel Moseley. And I say him because I feel like he's been solid his entire career with the 49ers. And I feel like that's something that's overlooked just because the entire time that he's been there, the cornerback group as a whole has maybe not been the greatest. But I do still believe he's been one of the bright spots there. And I think even with all the additions they've made, Trivarius Ward, who they've added this offseason, I still think that Emmanuel Moseley, is someone deserving of some more credit. I think he's a great, cornerback too. He's probably, not going to be someone who's going to be your he's not going to be your Trivarius Ward. There's a reason that they went out to get him, right? But Moseley, he had a 83.6 passer rating in his career. Last season, 6.1 yards per target. He didn't allow any touchdowns, and he had 10 pass breakups. I think that counts for something, and he definitely deserves more credit than he gets.
So we got Emmanuel Moseley, and we got Azeez Al-Shaair. Man, I'm struggling today. Jesus, working and then potting is a tough task for your boy.
Get it together for our pod later.
Seriously, Rob got to come through with those edits. So we got All Pro Huff in the comments calling that early. Our guy Jamal saying Moseley or Menahew. As far as underrated, I think Menahew is someone that you could definitely put in that. You said one corner, I'm going to say the other. I'm going to say Trivarius Ward. The reason why, even though he has not played a single snap for the 49ers, the reason why, Chris Royale, I'm going to get to your super chat after I answer this. The reason why is because since the 49ers have made that signing, the narrative has been, oh, this team's doing this. This team's doing that. This team's doing that. We got Trivarius Ward. We paid him like if he's a cornerback 1. Guess who has the lowest completion percentage allowed in the NFL since 2019? Trivarius Ward. On a defense that has to pretty much go hand in hand with the high-scoring offense, meaning teams are going to pass on the Chiefs quite a bit. Look at the quarterbacks in the AFC. Do I really have to name them? You got Joe Burrow. You got Josh Allen. Remember, they're playing a first-place schedule, so they're playing all those top teams. Lamar Jackson, they're playing those top teams in the first-place schedule. Yet, since 2019, he has the lowest completion percentage allowed. In man coverage in 2021, the second lowest completion percentage allowed. Only 18 completions on 46 targets. But yet, maybe because he was over with the Chiefs, maybe because diehard 49er fans didn't watch too many Chiefs games, he didn't make a Pro Bowl. He didn't make an All-Pro. So I feel like a majority of fans are like, who is this guy? Who is he? And he's a hell of a player. And he's going to be someone that gets this fan base pretty damn excited about because look at last season. Who knows? Who knows if Avery Thomas doesn't bite on a shallow route at the front of the line of scrimmage, maybe there's not a touchdown allowed to Cooper Kupp in the NFC Championship game. Maybe if you have more of a seasoned corner at that position, maybe the 49ers win that NFC Championship game, or at least hold them to a field goal instead of a touchdown in that scenario. No disrespect to Ambry Thomas. I think he played above his potential down the stretch there for the 49ers defense. And it was crucial because obviously he stepped in for a underwhelming Josh Norman. But let's stop with the Trivarius Ward slander. And that's why I'm saying he's underrated, because since that signing, it feels he's underappreciated as a signing. Like that's a splash to me. A guy that's allowing the lowest completion percentage since 2019, and we're complaining about it because we paid him a little too much, and he's only 25 years old. Like, come on, we're not signing a 33-year-old cornerback that has that lowest completion. No, we're signing someone who's hitting his stride, who's hitting his prime, and he's playing. It's not like it's a freaking Nate Clement signing to where he's playing with a Mickey Mouse defense. No, this guy's got all pros on his defense, and in a Nick Bosa and a Fred Warner. Like, Trivarius Ward's not going to be out on an island. He's got Jimmy Ward up top. Like, he's got the help, and I think he's very underrated and underappreciated looking forward to this season.
I agree, but you're kind of taking away from one of my answers with him. But yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it right there with that one.
That's fine. Yeah, I think they see him as CB1, and that's why I said like Mosley's a CB2, because like they signed Ward to be the CB1.
Yeah, and that's a discussion for another day. If Mosley has another season like he did last year, it's a contract year for him. What happens? Right. What happens? Right. That's going to be interesting. So we got 2 super chats here. Let's get to the first one. I'm not going to answer the first one. I don't think Steph is either. It's one person answer. So we have it here from David Wilson. Appreciate the super chat and appreciate you trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I spoke to Grant over Memorial Day weekend. I've got nothing but love and respect for Grant. You'll never catch me talking down on the man in any way. And if there was any discussion that would happen, it would be behind the scenes, man to man, not on the internet. It's the best answer I can give because I've seen this popping up and I have no idea where it's coming from. So, yeah, I mean, too much love and respect for that guy to talk down on him in any way.
I'll tell you one thing about Jay's character is when we were talking about like 49ers record, and then the first thing that popped in my head was like our buddy that we've been to Mobile, Alabama with, Jarrett Bailey, who's pretty known in the 49ers Twitter world now. And I just like brought up his mug because I thought it was hilarious. And Jay was like, yo, he like shut it down quick. Like, yo, don't do that. That's our boy. So one thing about Jay is like, no matter what the situation is, even if it's a funny type one, like he always has respect. It shows respect to his guys. But that's I have no idea. I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell's going on. I've been off Twitter. My phone's been broken the past week. Jay screamed at me about it. So
I haven't been streaming anything. I've been moving. So I mean, I don't know what has been going on. I don't know. Again, too much love and respect for that man to talk crazy about him.
Perfect. And so we're gonna jump to Chris Royal's question. Tell me how to say it. Royale, like
Royale with cheese.
Why I have 49ers over Rams in our division is because the Rams will have to travel more to play against the top teams. Also with Cards, I think they fall off because all the drama on the team. That's fair analysis. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I look, we're doing this all positive, and look, you can give credit to the Rams for winning that Super Bowl last year. Even, I was there for the game. Wasn't the easiest game to watch, but at the same time, you still have to feel good about this 49ers team because in many ways, they're more well-rounded in terms of this roster, which was already stacked. And now we're getting closer to a Debo Samuel extension. Nick Bosa is going to be here for a long time. You add in this number 5 guy, quarterback. It's easy to feel optimistic, absolutely, about this team. And you should be. And this is the time to be optimistic. When it's June, it's off of mandatory minicamp. And we've been hearing that Trey Lance is staying behind and working another week when he doesn't have to. That kid's got, as the kids say, that dog in him, and I need an X-ray to confirm that.
Stop it. All right, so yeah, I think that's fair to say about the Rams. I think one thing when we look at the schedule, we're only thinking about, the team that any given team is playing, right? So when you look at the Rams schedule, You know, they're going to play a lot of the teams that the 49ers play, but not under the same circumstances. So I think you bring up a very great point about the travel. Little things like that do make a difference. And while the Rams are, you know, there's a lot of veterans on that team and they're as good as they are, but I do still think there is some room for them to potentially struggle. So I think you made a great point there, Chris. Also regarding the Cardinals, I mean, I definitely agree. Like there's a lot of drama. I don't think Cliff can, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like the guy that when things get out of control, like he's able to extinguish those fires. So I'm with you on that as well.
Yep.
Perfect.
Cliff's really he's a really well-dressed guy. That's the thing that I walked away from when I saw him at the combine. I was like, man, this guy is as dripped out as he is in some of his pictures. Mm-hmm. And we got one more from Jamal, and I guess it'll just be, we'll put a bow on this. Yeah. People think you and Grant aren't cool because, shout out to you, Jamal. I got a chance to watch your segment. You know, as always, great on camera with Grant. That's amazing. I'm happy for you, bro. Bringing on new content creators such as myself for shows, people jump to conclusions is all. I just don't understand. I mean, again, I have nothing bad to say about Grant, and if I did, it would never be on the internet. It would be me and him somehow, call, text, whatever it is. But, you know, if there was an issue, that's how I would handle it. I will never say anything bad about him on the internet, and I would never do that to somebody that I consider a friend.
Got it. So now we went for most underrated. We had Aziz from Jay. We have Mosley from Steph, and I said Charizard. I'm just playing. Trivarius Ward. And now we're going to go with best player looking forward to the 2022 season. This time, let's go ahead and start off with Steph.
I'm going to say the best player on this team is going to be Nick Bosa. I mean, man, this guy is amazing. And it seems like every season, you know, except for that one where he was coming back from his injury, like every season he just gets better. And actually, even the year he was coming back from his injury, he improved. Like, and that's crazy because a lot of the offseason he spent rehabbing, right? So he's just an amazing player. You know, he's got the 2 Pro Bowls under his belt. He should have had an All-Pro after last season. Let's not forget. He put up like crazy stats for that one. 15.5 sacks, 52 tackles, and a league high 21 tackles for loss. So, man, I mean, he's just incredible. And like I said, he gets better every year. He takes his craft very seriously. I mean, he just looks like he's shed even more body fat if he even had any to begin with. So he's just shredded and he's ready to come after these quarterbacks. I'm excited for him.
Jay.
Leo, me? Yeah, mine is Trent Williams, man. I mean, the guy is hands down the best player at his position, the best in the world. There is no discussion. I don't want to hear about Bakhtiari. I don't want to hear about other players. And I think it's not even close when it comes to where he's at that position. There is a lot of high-end talent on this team. And there's arguments to be made with, okay, tight end, is George Kittle that guy? You know, Nick Bosa, is he that guy at edge? Is he that guy at offensive tackle? There is no argument. It's Trent Williams. It begins and ends with him. For me, the best that I've ever seen do it at that left tackle position for the 49ers. I know you guys love Joe Staley. Just Trent Williams is that much of a unicorn. Highest graded season by anybody in PFF history. And that is pushing my narrative. Even if it wasn't going with my narrative, I wouldn't have used it. But it further accentuates my point. So, yeah, it's Trent Williams for me, man. Best in the world at his position. Best player on this team for me.
So I'll go ahead and say my best player looking forward to this season. But how about Keith Carter shouting out the best player of the 49ers content world?
Not me.
Jason Aponte.
Not me. Family man at home. Family man at home. Not for the streets. Not for the streets.
Sources say that's true.
That reminds me of the little video you posted. Now, how did I get thrown into this?
Why am I in it? Yeah, why am I in it? See how I get thrown in
it? Best player, man. It's obviously when it comes down to it. I think a lot of times it's going to be Nick Bosa or Trent Williams. Either way you turn the picture, you know, You turn it a little bit this way, it's going to look like Nick Bosa. You turn it this way, it's going to look a little bit like Trent Williams. Now, one thing I don't want to get twisted is best player is also not most important player. For me, I think Trent Williams is the best player looking forward to this season. But if you look back to last season, I think Debo Samuel was the most important player. So that's the two different things there. Best player is Trent Williams. He's look what he's done the previous couple years that they had with Jimmy Garoppolo and other guys under center, and Trent Williams just balled out. And it's all, the thing is, he's not just doing it on one facet of the game. He's a stone wall in the pass protection, and then he gets you to the second level in his zone run schemes. So he's great, very smart guy, and he looks like he's taking more of a leadership role as well within his press conferences. So that gets me excited to I don't know what other step he can take as a player, but if he could take another step in the locker room and maybe more as a mentor, that's going to help out this team tremendously. So I'm excited. Look at the roster of this team. That's why I'm hella excited to see what happens moving forward. We're going to go ahead and post a super chat by Jesse because he's, 100% facts on this. I just wanted to take a sec to ask for prayers, positive thoughts, and vibes to our Niner brother, Brad Graham of the SF Niners and his beautiful family. Absolutely. I sent Brad a text yesterday. I was like, yo, I know I'm miles apart from you, Brad, but if you need anything, I think Uber Eats should still work. So let me know. Definitely thoughts out to Brad and his family, and hopefully that they go home happy.
Yeah, I love Brad so much, man. And we have people that we call colleagues, we have people that we call acquaintances. Brad is my friend, and I've been sending nothing but positive energy to him and his family and his wife through this time. So shout out to Brad. All positive energy, all positive prayers to him, and hope everything goes well.
Yeah, and I see the comment there, Niner by Nature 88. Brad has been open about it. He's posted it on his social media platform, so I'll just let you see it through his lens. I don't want to speak on another man's situation, just other than thoughts and prayers for him and his family. Next topic. Key new addition for the 49ers heading into the season. Last we started with Jay, so we'll start with Steph.
No,
key new addition.
Started with Steph last.
Well, I'll start with Steph again, just because you questioned me.
Oh wow, here we go, man.
Key new addition.
Afraid we're gonna say the same person, Jay?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I did start with Steph.
I try to I try to say someone that's not too obvious. I'm gonna go Ty Davis Price. Okay. That wasn't Jason's.
No, it's not.
I was just checking. But the reason I think he is one of the biggest additions that they made, I think it's going to dispel a lot of Debo Samuel having to play running back. And as we know, it's been a huge issue for him. At least that's what we've heard this offseason. And I do believe that Debo Samuel might have had some issues with that, thinking about the long term. I'm sure he was happy to do it, for that one season. But, maybe when people got too excited and started thinking about him, that being his main role with the team, it's like, hold on now. I don't want to do that because it might risk me getting injury. So I think it's a great thing for the team to have a thumper at running back, someone who can absorb those hits like Davis Price. And I mean, he did it in college at LSU. He was able to get a ton of carries. I don't remember the exact amount. I was trying to look it up right now, but I know he had a ton of carries for LSU, and I think he's going to be RB1 with the 49ers, honestly.
Okay. So, Leo, since you wanted to steal some of my answer, it's Trivarius Ward. And for the first time, the 49ers have a legit secondary that will be married to pass rush. Either it was the pass rush covering up the secondary. Now it's hand-in-hand emoji, right? So some of the numbers, right? Second in completion percentage allowed, via Next Gen Stats, 44.8%. Average target separation, 2 yards, which is first. Tight window rate, which is 46.3, is first. Coverage success rate, 64.2, which is fourth in the league. Targeted EPA allowed, -12, which is 11th ranked. So when you talk about how great this defense was and what they were able to do with a rookie corner, no slide at Ambry Thomas, it is what it is, and Josh Norman for many stretches of the season, when you're talking about now Emmanuel Mosley, who was the cornerback one, sliding into that CB2 role, and you have Trivarius Ward over there, it allows you to be flexible in terms of what you can do. You can throw man, you can throw zone, you can do so many things, and you're not so reliant on pass rush. Maybe you'll see some more coverage sacks now, as opposed to pass rush backing up the secondary at this point. So, yeah, Trivarius Ward's my guy.
Bro, you made my answer as far as most underrated. You made my research look like a bozo, so I appreciate you on that. So key new addition. All right, I'm gonna be that guy to name the player that was on the roster last season, but he wasn't really a contributor to the team, and Javon Kenlaw. Like I'm gonna go there. Javon Kenlaw, he's a key new addition to this defense. Yes, I get the health concerns from everybody that may have it, but at the end of the day, I'm not in the medical room. I don't feel what Javon feels, so I don't know where he's at right now in terms of health. You know, what they say to the media and what's said internally is two different things. So if Javon feels good come week 1, because right now it's kind of irrelevant since it's June. If Javon feels good come week 1, that's a huge addition. Like, yes, his defensive line is stacked, but they did lose DJ Jones on the interior. And DJ Jones is a hell of a run defense, interior defensive lineman. And what have we seen from Javon Kenlaw when healthy? He can make some moves against the run on the interior defensively. There's footage out there. So I think he could be a key new addition. Like, I didn't take it to the whole Trey Lance level of key new addition. No, I'll rather, take a step down from there and say Javon Kenlaw. Because if they could have Javon Kenlaw for, say, 80% of the games, I'm not even saying 17 out of 17. Give me 70 to 80% of the games. I think that's a huge win for the 49ers. But most importantly, huge win for Javon Kenlaw, because he's someone that deserves some success. And the reason why I say deserves some success, the way he could have that mentality and still hit that rehab and still want to play football and still go at it every day takes a lot of guts from a player. Like, you could fall out of love from the game, but based off what I've seen over the past month, it looks like he's hungrier now more than ever, and he's putting his mouth behind it. So that's got to make him step up even more.
Pull up Joey's comment.
The Brock Purdy disrespect is unreal.
Fired Scout.
Yeah, so short answer, I'm going with Javon Kenlaw because, one of the topics is prove it year, which you could lap him in that as well. But it's also only year 3 for Javon Kenlaw. His prove it year could be next year because that's technically contract year, and he's going to be on the team for his contract year. So I got him. I hope I didn't spill any of your guys' prove it year selection, but I would rather put him in key new addition considering
you did.
Yeah.
Considering he only played 1 game last year. That's why I put him in. He literally missed 16 games, and that's what the usual amount of games was. So, yeah, when you lose a guy like DJ Jones, you got to fill it somehow, and no other than your first round pick from a couple years ago. Could surprise.
Well, that's my player who's gonna in his prove it year.
Woo!
So there you go.
That's the show, guys.
Took all your talking points.
There you go.
All right. Well, instead of talking to me about your prove it year player, talk to me about who could surprise you. Everybody essentially.
All right. I am going to go with Kamiko Toure. Now, when you line up Chris Kosaric, this great rotation, fresh legs, he really has a chance to have a strong impact immediately. Some guys, it takes a little bit longer, as you saw down the stretch with Omenihu, but there's something about Toure that if, let's just say Drake Jackson doesn't hit the ground running, Toure's going to get his chance. He's been proven in the league. And we know that the 49ers do this great thing where they bet on the players' traits. They know that Chris Kosar is going to get the most out of them. And then when you marry that with the other guys that you have on your line, so let's say it's Nick Bosa, Kenlaw, Armstead, and then Torrey's on the other side, well, you've got to shift your attention to those other guys. Torrey's going to be in a great position to have as many one-on-ones that he has. And I think that he can have a very, very quick impact on a team that is still reliant on pass rush, still going to go ahead and look at guys who have traits, bring those guys in, bet on them, and get those guys paid, as you saw Kerry Hyder, as you saw Arden Key, those guys. I still believe that that's what they're doing here, and I think that Torrey is going to surprise a lot of people with his production, especially because he didn't have as much in Indianapolis being a rotational guy. We all know that that's a different value over here with the 49ers than with any other team.
That's a good one. I've been hearing really good things about Torrey so far, so that's a great one. Mine, however, is safety George Odom. I think, okay, how the tables have turned.
Get his ass stuff. Get his ass.
Get that.
All right. Well,
own
the
that
reason
bozo.
I thought I was, doing one that not a lot of you would say. So that's why I picked George Odom. Sorry, Leo. But the reason I say Odom is because I think when he was originally signed with the 49ers, that a lot of people immediately thought, oh, he's just a special teams signing, which that's fair to say because special teams needs a lot of help. And George Odom is a very strong special teams player. So I do think he will contribute in that regard. But I do think where he will surprise people is at the safety position. I think he's going to get a shot to compete there. We've been hearing a lot about, Hufanga. Trivarius Ward is also in the mix, and more. I always get their names confused. Trivarius Ward, Trivarius Moore. Oh my God. It's just like, anyway. Tarvarius Moore. And George Odom is going to be in that mix to compete for that spot as well. And I will say that I think he's going to give Hufanga a little run for his money, just based on some of the things I've heard of Odom in his time with the Colts. Colts fans really liked Odom. And I think that says a lot because if they're anything like 49er fans who are very critical about some of their players, if they like someone, then it must be real. But Odom, he had 7 starts with the Colts, and he had a career high 55 tackles, an interception, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. So he can generate turnovers as well, which is a thing that, this secondary has lacked, a bit in the past. So that would definitely be welcomed by this team.
So we got some comments in here saying Torrey, Kalia Davis, which that one's interesting because I think the comp on that is DJ Jones. But I'm going to go with this guy. Brad would be proud of me. Center Jake Brendel.
Line talk? Oh, let's go.
Center Jake Brendel. Obviously it's a huge blow when you have Alex Mack retire. I'm against Daniel Brunskill playing center. We saw what it looked like. Hear me out. We saw what it looked like in 2020. Wasn't pretty as far as pressure goes, as well as communication throughout pressure. Now, at the same time, I'm not anti Daniel Brunskill. If he's starting right guard week 1, I'm 100% okay. I'm okay with that. Obviously, unless somebody beats him out, then you know what? It is what it is. But the reason why I say not Daniel Brunskill at center, it's because looking back at the 2019 season where the 49ers won the NFC, you had 2 centers that year. You had, what's the name that retired? Richburg.
Hornets Grasu. Oh, you're talking about that other year. I'm sorry.
Richburg.
2020 was a bad year.
Yeah. Richburg and
Ben Garland.
So you had those 2 guys in there. In the 16 game regular season, you know how much pressures they gave up? Less than 20. They were at 18 combined. You look at this past season with Alex Mack during the 17 game regular season, Alex Mack gave up only 14 pressures over the 17 games. And then you go ahead and look at Daniel Brunskill's year. Now, I understand not every single game was at center, but the majority was there. You had 32 pressures from Daniel Brunskill. The reason why I bring up that pressure count is because you had none of those other guys more than 20. And then we have Brunskill over 30. Now, once again, I think he's fine at right guard. It's to me, it's just the center position to where, like, yeah, there's certain highlights on there, but you could do that with every single player. Like, you could show a highlight of someone draining a freaking JaVale McGee draining a three, but yet he's a career 10% 3-point shooter. So it's like Daniel Brunskill, put him at right guard. Jake Brendel, the reason why I like Jake Brendel is because he's athletic. He's 6'4", ran almost a 5 flat 40. Hasn't really got much run in the NFL. And when he has gotten run in the NFL, the pressure rate's not really high. He's only given about 4 career pressures with over 100 pass rushing snaps, which is good value for what Jake Brendel is. And keep in mind, center position shouldn't give up crazy amount of snap or pressures. That's why you've seen everybody else gave up less than 20. And that's what you need in Shanahan's offense. And I think Jake Brendel, to where, yeah, he's 30, 31, but he doesn't have much run in the NFL to where his body, he's 30. So to where his body fits more of like a 28-year-old mold. Ideally, he could have at least 3 seasons rather than a 1-year fix it with Trey Lance. And I think that's why he could surprise people. I know his name is kind of hot right now. It's trending right now with the Alex Mack retirement, but I think there is some fire behind that smoke with Jake Brendel. I think from what I've seen, the athlete, like the traits that he has, what Kyle Shanahan asks for, like Brunskill's a former tight end, but Brendel's more athletic than Brunskill. So I think he fits this offense nicely, and I think that's why he could surprise some people, because maybe come week 12, 13, we're not necessarily saying, why did Alex Mack retire? And maybe we're just, focus on something else at that point.
Yeah, and the Chris Forrester connection is real. Chris Forrester was the offensive line coach over there in Miami.
And that's where he got his most run as well.
Right. And the thing is that the 49ers have shown that they have a certain type at center. Weston Richburg was coming off of an injury while he was here with the New York Giants. Not there at MetLife Stadium, like right by there. He was somebody who was injured, and the 49ers liked what he had. So I wouldn't really look to track record. I would look to what they're betting on. As again, as we say with the pass rushing, is that they identify the traits and they're able to exploit those traits and get the most out of guys. So if the 49ers wanted Alex Mack back, but if they seem very fine letting Brendel go. And also, what people are forgetting is he was the backup last year, and he worked a lot with Trey. So if he's got those reps with Trey already, that is something that is being a little bit, I guess, glossed over. So the Jake Brendel thing, while I didn't get it in the beginning, I still wanted them to pick up the phone and call JC Tretter. I'm starting to understand now, especially when you look at OTAs, he takes the first reps. Now you're doing mandatory minicamp, he's taking the first reps. The 49ers are kind of telling you, while they also have 2 other pretty good options in undrafted free agents, Donovan West and Jason Poe. So the 49ers are going to give Jake Brendel the first crack, but I really do think that they feel comfortable about it. If you hear Kyle Shanahan speak about Brendel, he effused praise, and the same thing with Trent Williams when he talked about Brendel. So those are all good things right now at this point. I understand everybody's going to hype everybody up, especially early on here in June. But if you're looking at all the signs, they're all pointing to Jake Brendel. And I think that the more that I hear people speak about him inside that building, the more excited I get about it, because he's fitting whatever type they're looking for.
Yeah, and Richard McDonald in the comments said Brendel couldn't crack the starting lineup in Miami where they had terrible O-line. Well, a lot of players take different routes in the NFL. Like Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer, and yet he struggled, to even get an opportunity. Now I'm going to say, now I'm not going to put someone on that plateau. I'm going to say a Raheem Mostert, someone a lot of 49er fans fell in love with. How many teams did he get cut by? Lincoln Tomlinson came over to the 49ers for a 5th-round pick, was deemed a bust essentially from the Detroit Lions. So different situations mold different players, and great situations could mold good quality starters. So I'll just leave it at that. It's just, it's the book, it remains to be written, and I can't wait to read it. When it comes to
Such a poet. You hear Leo with these bar stuff?
Yeah, I'm like low key struggling to. No, Steph got the bars. Come on, man. Don't make her drop the link.
Hey, what about
make her drop
JC
the
though?
link.
What about JC?
Oh,
though?
JC
got the
man.
bars. JC
got
needs
the
to
bars.
JC needs to do a 49ers song because that'll get him cracking. Honestly, that's like you get one of those bangers, and then you all of a sudden you're pulling up to tailgates, you're pulling up to training camp, and you're performing songs, bro. Think about it.
Okay, I'm gonna challenge JC. We need an intro song for this show.
Ooh.
We need an intro song for this show, JC. Get in that lab, my boy. Let's see what you can do.
Let's go.
Takes a leap this year, coming into 2022. Make sure I get it right that time. Which player is going to take a leap? I started with you last time, so let's go, Steph. I want to hear from Steph.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to say Javon Jennings. Okay. And the reason that I say Javon Jennings, because he had a big leap last year, but I don't think he's done. I think the arrow is still pointing up for Javon Jennings. And you hear me getting excited because he is one player who, I don't know, like since last season, like I've just been very excited about him. And I think he's just going to continue to improve. Last season, he caught 24 passes, 282 yards, 5 touchdowns, which 24 passes, that doesn't seem like a lot. Like, why are we so excited about this guy? Well, it's because of the impact of those 24 catches. 52%, and shout out to Jordan for tweeting this the other day. 52% of the time Javon Jennings was targeted, the play resulted in a first down or a touchdown. That's huge. So like already he has a big impact. And if you can do that with 24 catches, I just feel like his ceiling is just, it's moving, it's going up. So stonks are up on Javon Jennings. And I've said it before, I'm going to keep saying it. I think he's a better Kendrick Bourne. No knock on Kendrick Bourne. I loved Bourne when he was on the Niners. I still love him, with the Pats. I just think that Javon Jennings has taken that role and ran with it, So I think he's going to, have another very solid season, and he's definitely going to help Trey Lance's growth.
I love it. Yeah. So, I mean, Leo already took mine, but it's Javon Kenlaw. So the knee seems to be cleaned up, and he slimmed up, so you're taking pressure off of that knee. He can be such a game changer for this defense because, look, DJ Jones was here behind Kenlaw, and DJ Jones played out of his mind. I am not expecting Javon Kenlaw to come in here and replicate what DJ Jones did last year in terms of run block win rate, which was first in the league across anybody, with anybody at the defensive on the defensive line. But if he can be that run stuffer that we saw flashes of in his first season before the injury took it, when you pair him with Eric Armstead, he is going to have a huge impact. Now, pass rushing is something that he needs to work on a little bit, and I think that he is, but he slimmed up. The knee is working. The knee has as little stress as it does on it right now. Javon Kenlaw really has a chance to take that step up. Again, a lot of the pressure that's on him is from the outside noise because of who he was traded for. If he was drafted there and no one, let's just say there was never any DeForest Buckner to compare him to, I don't think people would give him the same sort of flack that he has been getting. So I think that this is his time. The defensive line is as strong as it's been. I might even get as close, and it's crazy to say that this defensive line is going to be better this year than it was last year. But if Javon Kinlaw's a part of it, playing 70, 80% of the snaps, like you talked about, Leo, then I don't think it's really close because I do think that Javon is going to be special, and I do think that he has a chance to really, really take a leap this year. So I'm all in on Javon Kenlaw, and I hope he plays well this year.
So Samson Ebicon. How about that? The reason why I say he takes a leap this year because he really came on in the second half of the season. He was someone who was pretty much non-existent in the first half of the regular season there for the 49ers. And then he came on leading into the NFC Championship game. In 8 games up to that, Ebicon had 5.5 sacks, 31 pressures in 8 games, 11 quarterback hits, and 4 tackles for a loss. he really came onto this defense when he got comfortable. And I saw some noise in the offseason, as in, do the 49ers cut Ebicon to save like $6 million in cap? Did we not watch the same second half of the season? Like, this guy was straight balling. Once again, 31 pressures in an 8-game span. That is really impressive for a guy that's not necessarily on the field for every single snap, or necessarily on the field for the same amount of snaps as Nick Bosa. Hi, Mama.
You gonna say bye, Super
Go
Regis?
Niners? Does she say go Niners? That's big. That's big. I love it. I love it. I love the personality that's coming in with her. That's awesome.
She's always happy.
Yeah, love it.
She loves the new place because she can open up the window and look, and there's a park there, there's a pool there for her. So she's like loving this place right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going with Samson Ebicon just because what he did in the second half of the season. I'm expecting him to do that, but from week 1. Maybe he doesn't do it at that same level, but at least to be a hell of a lot closer to that production than what he was in that first half of the season. Because someone like myself, I was like, why didn't we go sign Marcus Golden instead? Than a Samson Ebicon, and then Ebicon basically pulled a DJ Reed and said, "Look here, bozo. Look at my stats over this next."
Hey, is there anyone else that you can maybe take a shot at that can try to prove you wrong on this roster since we're doing that?
Oh, stop it!
I'm just asking. It seems the
issue is he'll prove me wrong, but for a different team. So I don't want to go there.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah. I don't want to go there. But yeah, that's my guy. He's gonna take a leap. Samson Ebicon. And to me, a leap would be if he hovers around the 10 range, and if you got a guy hovering around the 10 range with the Nick Bosa on your roster, that's tough. That's tough for any offense. Don't sign me up to be there, OC. I'll tell you that much. Nice. Last one here. Prove it year. And all of you are out of your mind if you say prove it year, Trey Lance. No. Jay, I want to hear from you. Prove it year. Which 49ers player does it?
Oh, wait a minute. That was takes a leap? No, man. Prove it year is Javon Kenlaw. Takes a leap.
Christ, man. Stick to the order. You sent it.
I did send it. So real quick, my takes a leap is Trey Lance. There, done and done. But it's everything that I said about Javon Kenlaw earlier. So that we can go over the stuff now at this point. Jesus, man.
Oh wow. All right. I'm gonna go with
stuff going on right now.
Okay, so prove a year, yes. Kinlaw, obviously. I also honorable mention would say McGlinchey, but the person who I'm going to talk about is a dark horse candidate for prove it year. I'm gonna say Debo Samuel. And the reason I'm gonna say Debo Samuel, we can assume that he's gonna get his contract before the season starts. Hopefully, we're praying, but the reason I think even with the contract, this is the prove it year for him, because all of this mess that happened in the offseason, all of this, talking with your actions, he didn't actually do any talking, but, a lot of those actions would suggest, in all of the reports, it would suggest that, if you're going to get this big contract, you got to prove to us that you can sustain, this productivity and not just at the running back position. So I think for me that, and I just want to clarify, I'm a big fan of Debo Samuel, so I'm not doubting that he can do it. But I think a lot of fans have kind of turned on him a little bit and are like, whatever, we don't need to give him the contract or what have you. But I think he has a lot to prove in that regard, to just say that he can do it beyond just the one unicorn 2021 season. That's what I think.
Okay.
That's
actually really well thought out and said.
No, that's great. It is true. So I respect that. I would say you said honorable mention, Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah, are you gonna take my honorable mention?
No, just because I don't think it's necessarily a prove it year with Mike McGlinchey. I think if for whatever reason health is an issue, I think he would probably come back to the 49ers. That would be my gut on maybe like a 1-year prove it deal type thing, as we're talking about a prove it subject line. So I think he would come back on a much cheaper rate than he is making this year. So I don't think that's necessarily prove it at that point. I'm gonna say prove it deal would be Daniel Brunskill. The reason why I say that is because he's someone that could hit the open market next season. Is he going to play well enough to get re-upped by the 49ers on a starter worthy deal? Is he going to go get paid like Lincoln Tomlinson got paid? Is he going to be someone that the 49ers are going to say, hey, I'm going to go have to, reevaluate the right guard position, and I'm going to need to get myself a new starter now that Daniel Brunskill's a free agent. Once again, I like Daniel Brunskill, but it is a prove it year for him. Like, he's either going to get money, remain a starter for the 49ers, get money somewhere else, become a starter somewhere else, or become a reserve guard player, essentially. So it's a prove it year for Daniel Brunskill if he wants to remain a starter in the NFL for me. If he goes out there and has a couple of games that doesn't look too good, or, stay status quo to what he is doing right now, I think it's very tough for teams to go ahead and want to pay him more than 49ers to go be a starter. And so that's where I'm looking at it for Daniel Brunskill. He has an opportunity here to stay with the 49ers, get a decent salary bump, or, do something somewhere else. And it's just, to me, I think his opportunity as a starter is on the line here, and I hope that he proves it. I hope that he goes out there and does, amazing things. I think what also helps his scenario is he doesn't have a freaking refrigerator there taking snaps from the center. Like, Trey Lance can move. He can move, and, he could do things. So if he does give up an instant pressure, sometimes that may not, look out, be a
The
sack on the stat
doesn't
sheet.
stop.
Why a refrigerator though? Like,
because he's everybody likes the refrigerator. Like, name one person that hates the refrigerator.
Oh my God.
I hate mine because it doesn't fit and I gotta shave the top of my cabinet or whatever. That's a whole other project for another day.
So you're basically what you're saying is you're the 49ers front office and you need to shave some of the salary cap. So because of the refrigerator.
Now Jimmy's the one sending out this video. Now why am I in it? Like, how does Jimmy catch strays out here even still, man?
Had you guys emphasized on it? I just left it at refrigerator, and I left it at the refrigerator. Man. Yeah, every football player likes the refrigerator. Everybody in the 49ers locker room likes the refrigerator. So it's just, it is what it is. We'll keep it at that.
No, so what's good about Brunskill is this is going to be his second straight year of taking primarily right guard snaps only, right? Like, again, there is an advantage to having a guy bouncing around, and that flexibility is good. But another year, and especially we're going to need that position to be as solid as possible because let's keep it a buck. Left guard, center, right tackle are three spots that we really don't know about. The two things we do know about are Brunskill and Trent Williams. So you need as many definites as opposed to question marks when it comes to this offensive line. And if Brunskill is going to take all of the reps again at right guard, then he has a chance to continue to grow, to continue to learn things. And that is going to be very valuable. And I think that's the part that people are missing a little bit here. But I do agree with you that for what the 49ers got Daniel Brunskill for, to get what they have gotten out of him on the field is incredible. And it's a great story. But yes, I do think Daniel Brunskill is going to go somewhere else if he doesn't stay here and prove that he can be the right guard, because he is a starter in this league, I believe. And people will take a chance on that. If he's not, then he's going to be one of the high-end backups in the league at right guard. So this is it is a bit of a prove it year for him because he's going to sink or swim in terms of where he's going to be viewed in this league as a starter, or is he going to be a high-end backup?
Yeah. And like I said, I hope that he does play out to get a new contract, stay the starter, because I hate turnover on the offensive line as much as possible. So if you keep one of those positions to not turn over to be someone new, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm obviously going to be pro player. Hope that they, have everyone. I just want everyone to go be happy. I just want everyone to be happy, have smile. I don't even care who wins. Just kidding. I want the 49ers to win and smack the hell out of everybody else. Prove it year, Jalen Moore, honorable mention, the refrigerator. Jimmy's going to be in Cleveland. But let's see here. So, yeah, any last topics here from you guys?
No, I'm happy that you guys are back. I'm happy that we're doing this again. Contest.
I'm happy you got a new corner.
Oh yeah, this corner's still not done though.
Guys,
I've got to put up the.
We need more Batman stuff back
Right.
there. What happened to the poster?
The Batman, the Spider-Man stuff. I'm putting this bad boy up soon. You know, I've got some other stuff. I'm still look. Trust me, man. It's hard. So the problem is when you own something, if something goes wrong, you have to fix it. And this is something that I'm struggling with right now. Something's not working with the sink. I can't call anyone. I've got to be a man, get my wrench, and figure this shit out. So this is why it's taking a little while for things to, come to like. I got this just so I could have something like to see things like that. But this is far from done. I've got some other stuff to do. But yeah, like I'm looking at a range microwave right here and a dishwasher that needs to be installed. And I am as clueless as a rookie quarterback who is watching the safety rotations and seeing all these new things, and it might as well be me trying to calculate things in my head. So,
okay, handyman Jason.
Now I changed the tire under pressure, and I've never done it before because I've never been in a car that needed a flat tire, and I am all that is man. That's all I want to say about that.
Now he's gonna have Handyman J YouTube channel.
Hey man, if you want,
that would do numbers low key though.
I mean, I would have to put on some more muscle because you can't really wear stuff like you gotta like have like a white beater on. You gotta show like it's gonna be a whole process.
Now, next new video from Jason Aponte, how I installed my dishwasher.
How I installed my dishwasher and put in a range microwave without destroying the whole place.
How I replaced my light bulb without a ladder because I'm so tall.
How many tall light skin dudes does it take to change a light bulb, right? Like that would be the name of one of them.
I'm just happy. I like your guys' setup that you guys have right now. I got my wife's purse, her robe, some paper.
I like your haircut.
Some mail that I'm never gonna go through.
I like your haircut. That cut is looking fresh as hell though.
I need to grow my hair.
He was trying to be
again,
low key
man.
about it. He was like, "You guys see this?" As he was
like,
talking,
yeah,
you see that?
He's like, yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah,
with Zaddy Ball.
Zaddy ball.
All right, that's it. Let's get the hell out of here. Steph, plug everything that you have to plug on here, and same. We'll go around and do all the same thing.
Really quickly, I was just gonna mention that I'm doing a giveaway for a signed Frank Gore jersey. So if you guys have not entered, rule number 1, you got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. As Leo mentioned earlier, the link is in the description. And you can go to my twitter.com/Stragosaurus. I don't know why I said the whole URL.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's new.
STRAGOsaurus. You can see it right here.
Nice job.
You can see right there. And if you go to that pinned tweet, just send me a screenshot to show that you have subscribed to the channel. There you go. You are entered for the Frank Gore jersey, and then going to be announcing the winner for that next week. But yeah, those are my socials and whoever's next.
Nice, perfect. I'll just go whatever. Instagram, Twitter, you see it below, same handle, LeoLuna93, and subscribe to the channel. I'm not doing a flashy giveaway of a Frank Gore jersey. I don't know if I can enter technically to that raffle, but I hope my name gets chosen at the same time. But yeah, I'll figure something out for you guys. But in the meantime, go win that jersey for me, guys. Go win that jersey. Go subscribe to Steph's channel. That's what I'm going to say about that. And go ahead, Jay. Take us home.
Well, at Jason Aponte 2103, at Jay Aponte 2103 on Instagram, and look out for a new Oh Hey There tonight with Leo Luna, our first episode. So that'll be audio wherever you get your audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. That's where you should subscribe, and look out for the first episode. I'm super excited. I'm gonna drink a Red Bull and speak a mile a minute, so get ready for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a coffee right after this. I try to make it before the show, but time didn't work out. And you guys were already yelling at me, and I joined just in time.
Well, you were late.
Let's do it. I was on time. Late if I was in the military. On time.
Late because you're the host.
Someone called you out in the comments and was like, "Be on time." See, that's not just us. We weren't just, and it's not my burner.
Yeah, I ignored that comment on purpose because I felt it.
Clearly.
I felt it. All right, y'all. I'll see you soon.
All right.